Just kidding.
I don't think it's common for people your age to have as much, not just sales and business experience, but actual leadership experience in building something, building organizations that are truly operating with excellence. Not, let alone like the money that comes along with that and the good that you can affect in people's lives. So what I wanted to do is frame this and just say, you are a sales systems specialist. Okay. What is the coolest sales system that you're working on right now? And I just diagram it for me.
Diagram the coolest sales
system.
system.
I know how you work, dude.
Cool. Yeah, you know exactly. Okay. So the biggest one.
And this is like, what people also don't understand is like, it's one thing to be a good sales rep, right? It's a totally different ballgame to be a good all around jack of all trades, manager, executor.
Do you call me jacked there?
Jacked of all trades.
I'm just kidding.
It's a totally different thing to be a sales operator.
Yeah.
Right? Like
I would 100% agree, because I never, all the skills that are needed, I don't think I had them in the beginning at all. And I've just slowly, I think I've developed all of them over time, but the process and system stuff made more sense to me.
Okay.
Where and why, I actually don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It may be like, I actually think it might be a spiritual gift, because I can like take information, I can systemize it really easy. Like when I'm reading books, that's how I read them. So I'll read it and then I'll create a system for me to remember it. And then I'll create another system for me to train somebody on it somehow.
Cool.
Sometimes acronyms, I know it's popular, but sometimes just like 3 steps, 5 steps.
You're building like these visual frameworks that make sense. Like,
yeah, and AI makes it way easier. Actually.
Yeah, that's true.
I literally upgraded to ChatGPT Pro. So I can take a picture of this and it can create a diagram of it. Sweet.
Yeah, so Talin is a sales trainer, sales manager. You build sales teams, and then you go take those sales teams out to a market in the summer, and you do door-to-door sales with these guys.
Yep.
And yeah, for anybody that has never done that before, I would put our door-to-door guys up against any other type of sales in the world, frankly, and like watch us win just with enough time at least. Yeah.
The sheer not willpower, but just endurance it takes to lead a group of men that have never done the job and for you to be the guy. I don't know something harder. Let
alone with no sales, when the guys have no sales experience.
And when you don't have that much either.
Yeah.
It's like we usually in our program, it goes from guys being in it for 12 months to 36 months. Within that time, usually they're expected to go lead their own team. And then within, 24 to 48 months, 56 months, it'd be lead your own office.
And be producing millions in revenue.
Yeah, it's like understanding.
And then we did that on command.
Bada bing, bada bing. So right now, the one thing that I'm working on the most,
replication.
Version of replication, right? So we have, when you bring a rep into your program, there's like so many different ways to make sure they succeed, right?
So the unique thing about the way we operate in door-to-door sales, well, I'm saying we because I just left the door-to-door sales industry.
His spirit lives on.
My spirit lives on in several different ways, some of which are more favorable than others. So we built our own teams and then coached them how to sell and then sold with them in the field. So we kind of like took the program from zero to producing millions in revenue, like from the ground up. And our managers were expected to do every aspect of that building.
Yep.
Okay. So that's what you're diagramming for us here. It's like when you bring a sales rep into your program, how do you get that person to succeed?
Yep. 100%.
Okay.
So a couple different things. And this is like relatively straightforward, but each section actually could have its own subsection. So when you're recruiting, I'm trying to simplify everything. So when you're recruiting somebody, it's contact, interview. It's like the classic recruiting funnel. Offer.
And our again, I'm just going to keep saying our because I still feel like
sign. Yeah, no, 100%.
Our systems involved aggressive recruiting strategies. And I say aggressive because we're not putting out like Indeed ads. Right,
no,
like
you're going to the marketplace where you're just going to humans, like they're
you're selectively trying to find people that can do the job because there are very few types of personalities that can actually do it well. So you have to go be the hunter for these people to find the right people, or else you just won't find them. Like casting a wide net, a lot of people can respond to an ad that says like make $30,000 in 3 months or something.
Yeah,
but very few of those people are going to be qualified unless you go select them personally.
Yep.
So this is an aggressive recruiting strategy, which is why you have your own funnel for it.
Exactly. And this is, it's going to be, anyone who's familiar, it'll look familiar, but there's some nuances that I found that are important. And then this is what we called, I can't remember the word that I call it. When you introduce someone to an opportunity, integration.
Okay.
And then retaining, and then to training. So the interesting thing that I'm finding in my processes here is there was a lot of stuff that happened that I would do naturally, but I didn't know how to train anybody on it. So like, as I've been doing it
in terms of building your team.
Yeah, like recruiting, retaining, training, and like all of that. And then the whole thing. Am I good on this one?
Yeah, your low end is right here.
Hopefully there's no English majors on here.
Or handwriting specialists. That's not bad.
Experience. I should have said EXP. That would have saved me. Okay, so contacting, interview, offer sign. What obviously me and you have talked about this. So when it comes to contacting in specific, you have these levels.
It's like when you're selling someone on working for you.
Yep. So this is Timmy, the random Timmy.
Okay.
So then if you were to label these low to high, well, actually, it'd actually be flipped. So be high to low. And this is going to be trust.
I recognize this framework from somewhere. I'm having a hard time remembering where this is from.
It's from, yeah, anyways.
So low to high trust, meaning how much the person that you are selling on. And essentially, you can look at the way that we built our teams was we viewed it as you view it as it's a high ticket sale because 100%. You're convincing someone to come work with you. So if you can view an aggressive recruiting strategy as a high ticket sale,
yep.
It becomes very easy to see how this fits in with a funnel, right? Yep. And a multiple call close. Yep. So instead of, you sell pest control, you knock a door, you close it in 5 minutes.
Yep.
Here it's a multi-stage close, which involves gauging other aspects of how much someone trusts you before you get them into your funnel.
Yeah, because depending on where they're at in their funnel, it actually shifts how you should approach the funnel.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So trust levels here. So we look at this as in people that are in your personal network. People.
And this is the trust level. Sorry, I'm going to be so redundant, but this is the trust level of the person that you are selling to be on your team that you are recruiting. Yep. So the person you are recruiting, how much they trust you.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
So you're at a 3
already, right? Like naturally.
Naturally, exactly. So this would be personal network. These are people that you know, like, and trust. That I define this as 1-to-1. So for example, like I know Hayden because I introduced myself to Hayden or was connected to Hayden, and I now have a 1-to-1 relationship.
Perfect.
A trust line would still be in this. Actually, even I would say trust lines could be one or the other depending on how much trust you have with the person. I'll actually probably put that here. And then just for the example, it's cold contacting would be the third.
So personal network
is 1-to-1.
Is a 1-to-1 relationship. That's you have high trust. A trust line is like one person removed from your personal network. So
1-to-1 to 1.
So like I know
Bjorn.
Yeah, so you're trying to recruit someone that I know, which now you're 2 layers of trust removed, but there is still trust there, assumedly, right?
Yeah, so it'd be like if I called Hayden and said, hey, I'm looking for people that fit XYZ criteria. This is what we're doing. Who do you know that I could reach out to? And
dude, this is so good because this is
your cousin.
You probably run into more like sales professionals who are more into this game of like multi-stage closing than quick transactions. Yeah, which this applies perfectly because if I'm like, looking for someone that I want to have what did we call this? Low-hanging fruit. Like look in your personal network of people you can sell to.
Look in your contacts list. That's your low-hanging fruit that probably should, at least one will fall.
But I don't want to bother them.
Well, guess what, Timmy? Someone's going to bother them.
I don't want to make them spend monies on things.
Yeah, no. Asking them to spend money is the greatest sign of love. No, I'm just kidding.
Is it?
I'm kidding. I don't mean that.
It could be.
Personal network is 1-to-1. Trust line is 1-to-1-to-1, so 1 layer removed of trust.
Okay.
And then cold contacting is going to be your lowest level of trust. I don't know you, you're a stranger.
1 times infinity.
Right. And if you were to split up your time here, I'm literally I'm trying to systemize how I literally look at recruiting.
Okay.
Because for me, in my personal, I've done decent here at times. I've done excellent here at times. I've done decent
with training.
Yeah, I've always done pretty well here. I've always loaded up teams. This is where things that I've done are changing because
retaining your sales force,
the sales force that we have.
This is pre-training them, so like after they've been recruited into the system.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the retaining process is actually going to be a consistent process you do throughout the whole time they work with you.
Okay.
But the steps that you take have to take place as quickly after recruiting them as possible.
In order to keep them engaged in your system, in your program.
Precisely.
Okay.
And then as you go throughout, you train, but then you're actually revisiting the items that we'll talk about here.
Right. And so is the training where you're adding the most value, like immediate value to the person? Or are you looking at the retention aspect in your system as that's where you have to like deliver immediate value to your new recruit that you've sold?
Well, so that
on being with you,
I think for some it would be different. For me, it's here because of
in retention.
What my program is trying to build, genuinely, it's to leave people better than we found them, and do that in a way of teaching foundational principles of character development.
Sounds like you thought about this before
a couple times, and then skills of persuasion, influence. So the way I said that would be character development first. And leaving them better than we found them. To know what that looks like, you'd have to go through steps. We call it like a first creation.
Okay. This is goal setting process for them.
Goal setting
your new person that you've recruited into your program.
Exactly. So we're gonna pin this because this actually is still fire though. The process here though, because the thing with recruiting is these steps don't matter if you don't have a team. Right.
Retaining and training someone doesn't matter if you don't have anyone to retain and train. It's
fun for guys to philosophize about how to retain and train, but when they don't have reps, it's kind of not worth it. So you should split your time up when you are looking into actually building your team. If it's from the ground up, you really need to split your time up. If you already have reps, then your approach will be a little bit different. But the way that I look at it, if you have 100% of your time, that you've allocated to recruiting, right? So obviously you're not spending 100% of your time recruiting. Unless you don't have anybody, then you should. How I like to look at it is because this section here, you'll probably be able to work through it the quickest, but if you're doing trust lines good enough and well enough, you'll actually be bringing people into your personal network through your trust lines. So how I like to look at it, as 60% of my time here.
60% of your time in contacting?
Working with
your personal network. Okay.
And the work that you're doing should be 60% of the time either working with people within it or doing your best to bring people into that. 30% is going to be trust lines. And then the remaining 10% is going to be cold contacting. The goal, this is just my thought process. The goal is to do enough work here that you actually don't get to the 10%.
To make it so that if you're not working with your personal network and bringing people into your system, then your time is spent in so much in your trust line network that you almost don't have time to allocate to cold contacting.
Yes, because it's interesting too. Yeah, I have a whole other philosophy on why guys will spend time here because I've done it before.
It's just wasting time to prove that they aren't going to get the results. Yeah, they're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy for why they're about to fail.
And is it easier for you to get told no from a complete stranger or your family members?
Yeah.
It's actually easier to get told no from a complete stranger.
Right.
Follow me. So then people will do that to stay comfortable. That's right. So we have two branches there, but that's a whole nother conversation. So yeah, your goal is to spend
logical
90% of your time here. And what you should be doing is working trust lines. So reaching out to people that know, like, and trust you, but aren't going to work for you. And then seeking referrals from them. Getting those referrals, bringing them into your personal network through whatever it may be. Basically, networking is what it is. Increasing trust, and then you're interviewing these people to sign them into your program. The thing with it is you have to understand it's fine if you want to play the game of doing this. If you don't have a network, then awesome. Like
getting good at cold contacting is maybe something that you could see valuable.
Yes, you just
if you don't have a personal network.
You have to realize that the work done in the retaining step increases the further out that you go. So if you get it, so if and I've seen people recruit through social media and see it flop.
Because of the trust factor, right?
There's
So
a lot
like
of trust. They underestimate the work that it takes to bring people into the highest level of trust to actually work with them. So they sign, 15 people here, but they underestimate the work done in the retaining step. And then it ends up being they have 2 reps and they wonder why. They say, well, cold contacting doesn't work. It does. All of these steps work. You just have to realize what you're biting off. Like when you take the bite of cold contacting, you just better become really, really good at creating high trust with people that never have met you. Some people are naturally good at that. If you work through a lot of trust lines, then the work needed to increase trust to bring them closer to you for them to work with you is a little bit higher. Your personal network will be the lowest amount of work needed in that section.
fair.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
In reality, the reason, and regardless of what company you're working with, the benefit of the modules and what Hayden teaches, the reason that it's important is it's transformational. So companies and sales in general is going to be transactional by nature because that's what takes place is a transaction. The problem is most times the training is also going to be transactional, which is I give you this, you give me this output. What I found in the trainings from Hayden and also the years of working with him is that he focused on a transformational foundational base on things that were true and unchanging principles that can allow you to not only achieve results much higher than if you had a transactional focus, but also to live a fulfilled life, to truly be able to look yourself in the mirror at night and be happy and proud of what you're building. And then also to have an untapped potential of motivation because you know you're doing things the right way. So if you want to increase in regards to your just absolute production, and you also want to understand foundationally how to do that, then you would need to take advantage of what Hayden has to offer. The interesting thing about Hayden's modules, his course, anything that he produces, is it can give guidance and direction to anyone from the ages of, I would even dare say 12, 15, 18, all the way up to the rest of your life, because they're based on principles. So if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling unsure of your purpose, if you're feeling like you're doing something that's meaningless, and even if you're making a ton of money, but you're still having these underlying feelings of not feeling like you're doing it right, then take advantage of what Hayden has to say because it'll allow you to receive direction. It'll allow you to receive principle-based thinking and processes to then increase production, but then also increase fulfillment in a way that you never even thought possible. And honestly, the only problem you'll have is you'll probably wish Hayden would have released his course like 3 or 4 years ago.
So, so I might derail you. So like, don't let me do that if I will.
This is just one of the things I've been articulating recently as I'm really trying to replicate leaders going to recruit. I find that, this is the method here to do it correctly. All of my highest performers have come from here. From
your personal network.
All of them.
Where
I've had the most success though has been from my personal network, people that are really close to that.
Okay, so yeah, I was gonna ask you like, are there any constraints on selling? I'm gonna call this selling. I know it's recruiting, but are there any constraints? Are there any constraints on selling to your personal network when it comes to performance ability? So, for example, like, is there a sweet like, let's say,
oh yeah,
huh?
I said, oh yeah.
Let's say my personal network is like everyone's like me in my personal network, right? So
like you specifically?
Yeah, everyone I congregate with people who are like me, who are like-minded.
500K PRA.
No. In my case, I wasn't the greatest salesman. Yeah. So at least at first, right, when I was building teams, that it took a lot for me to like get very good at personal sales. So you could assume that the people in my personal network might not actually be the best qualified for, if they're like me, right? They might not be the best qualified. Maybe they're a little bit more emotional because I tend to have more like emotional kind of maybe weird intellectual friends or something like that. And this is just a random example, right? I don't know if it directly applies to me perfectly, but if there's a case where like my personal network, they might not actually perform the best because I'm constraining myself to people who are very similar to me. Yeah. But if I'm building a team, I want a diversity of talent of people who are better at things than me. Mm-hmm. So is there a sweet spot in like the level of talent you could acquire by going slightly outside of your personal network And if so, what does that sweet spot look like? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
Your question is, what's the balance of operating within these three?
As it relates to finding the right people for your org.
Okay. That's a good question. The highest, I'll answer just with my experience.
Okay.
The highest performing teams I had are a Houston year. My personal team of 12, we had a 202 account PRA, and the average age on that team was 20 years old.
So average age is 20 years old, and does that mean their average earnings was like what, 80, 90K, something like that?
Average, all including rookies, because I don't exclude rookies in my averages. So it was like
61,000 in earnings in 3.5 months, 4 months.
Excluding my earnings that year.
Excluding your earnings,
so,
okay.
Excluding.
So you didn't skew it up by another like 100K or something?
That was the realest average I tried to pull. So that year, though, to answer your question of like finding talent, no one actually sold that came from my personal network. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Where everyone operated it was me to this person. That was the highest trust. And then it was a person in very high trust to that person. That was almost that entire team.
My highest performing teams were some version of that as well.
That's where I've had the most success. So when guys come to me, they're like, well, I want to go cold contact a bunch. I'm like, it's not bad. As long as you're really, really good at bringing them into trust and then getting them to introduce you to the people that trust them.
It's fascinating.
Because then your cold contact here, that year, all of the cold contacts that I made that introduced me to those, they quit. But the people they introduced me to were studs. Right?
Okay. So yeah, interesting.
But that's my skill set. I really do think I have ability to gain trust sooner than others in some situations. So I was able to dance in all of these, but I realized
in all the pools of trust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, because I was like a little scared kitty cat when I first started, and I couldn't recruit my personal network. I tried one friend, and I've talked to him twice since. Really sad. Anyway, insert cue sad music, please. But yeah, so to answer your question, I think that I've always been a fan of you work with what you have. So for example, like some guys are like, well, I need to go sell more to go and build a successful team. I don't 100% agree with that. There does need to be a pace setter. You do need to lead from the front. You need to have competencies. But I've always been a fan of if people are willing to work with you, you do everything you can to get them to perform. And then that has allowed me to know what to look for in people I'm recruiting. So your question of how do you find the right people in the program, depending on where you're pulling them from.
In terms of the levels of trust back toward you, right?
I just think it takes way more. You're going to have to sit down with way more people and bring more people into your program and have a ton leave to actually understand what's going to work with your unique skill set.
Fascinating.
So like for me, that first year that I ever built a team, I hired anybody and everybody, and I got criticized for it. And then I was the only team leader that actually like led a successful team that year. There was me and
my recommendations to everyone, which is hire everyone.
Well, because you have to realize it's like, because then there's I don't want to talk about that one, but then people are like, well, it's not my time, and it's like, okay, well, like, okay, let's talk about the value of your time. Besides the point, so
listen,
to answer your question,
my going rate right now is at least $1,000 an hour. Like $1,000 an hour. How often? You only work like 4 hours a week, though, right?
You should work more because you'd make a lot more.
You should work a lot more if that's your rate.
Hourly rate. So back to like that's my thought process there. So my process itself right now that I'm trying to like formulate better is I'm tracking.
I'm just taking a month off though.
Oh yeah,
because I worked so hard for the rest of the year.
I think that's a great idea, man.
Don't you love that mentality? It's like
it's really great. I'm like
we work 5 months out of the year, and that way we don't have to work the rest of the year. It's like you're lazy.
It's like Talin. I love it's cool that you do the sales thing because like you don't have to work this time of year, right?
Wait, you're not going to school, right? Why aren't you working?
It's like I work 13 months.
Because I'm going to Bali.
This phase.
Why are you going to Bali? Because, dude, I served a mission there or something.
It was New Zealand, man. Come on. Just kidding.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean that in terms of like a sales trip. I meant because I'm going to, where would they go? Because I'm going to go tour Europe. It's like, you're 20 years old, dude. Why are you touring Europe?
Dude, I'm going to Fiji, man. Come on.
Your biggest opportunity cost to work is in your 20s. Biggest, by far. Like every minute that you are not slaving away in your 20s to build something is the biggest opportunity cost. You have the most energy. You have the most mental clarity about like what you could want into the future. You're the most acute at anything you could want to do.
Yep.
Everything that you're going to do is going to come way more naturally in your 20s. You're more malleable, so you can learn skills much easier in your 20s. Yeah. Best advice I ever took from is actually one of Warren Buffett's financial. I don't know if he was a CFO at the time. He used to be the CEO for Hawaiian Airlines.
Yeah.
Randy. He gave a talk to a very small group of some of us leaders. Jason brought him in, and I asked him what advice he would give to his younger self in his 20s. And he said, work every day, every hour of your 20s, and make that your highest priority is to build something. Slave away to build something in your 20s. And I was like, dude, done. And
that's what you did.
And you build yourself.
And in the process.
Anyway, sorry, I derailed us.
No, I 100% agree. That's what I'm doing. 100%. I think
you have to.
The further on in my 20s I've gotten, the more I realize the value of it. Because then you're like, oh, I'm 26. I've kind of been really grinding at stuff since I was 23. And then you just start to see, you're like, okay, I actually have like a decent competency. Like I understand how to do this. And you're like, oh, wait, I can do this for this. This could go for anything, anywhere, anybody.
Because you've worked, I mean, you have put in so much effort to understanding the principles of not just sales and the dynamics of like one-to-one sales, but the managing sales reps, creating out of thin air sales programs that can perform like at a moment's notice.
It's true.
That's a skill set that nobody has. That is, I mean, there's a market for this skill set everywhere.
Yep. As long as there's revenue in business.
As long as the economy exists, there's a market for this skill set that it's in high demand. I mean, dude, if you listen to like the All In podcast or listen closely to a lot of these podcasts that are popping up with the like big multi-billion-dollar company CEOs that are doing these usually tech podcasts, but there's other sectors that are popping up too. All they talk about is like listen closely. Their biggest need is people who can sell stuff, dude. Like listen to Chamath Palihapitiya talk, and it's like if we had better sales reps, we could be doing way more revenue right now.
Yeah.
So
boots on ground is in the trenches, man.
Yep.
Needle moving items. Needle moving humans, I would say.
Yeah, but you have the skill set that just no one else has, and it's because you went all into building it. So now, in like your last 4 years of your 20s, you can maximize that just by doubling down exactly what you're doing, refining, perfecting processes, just like taking the feedback and data and making a quicker turnaround to get results.
Yeah.
Huge.
Which is a whole nother, the speed of taking failures and making the change. It's a whole other process of conversation.
Speed of recovery.
Speed of recovery is important. We're working on that one. So yeah, this is my idea in regards to contacting. So when you contact them, you need to understand, because once again, like you're in a race against time in our model, right? Because with my position, I'm not quite in the position where I'm recruiting year round because I'm still going out and leading the teams in the summer.
Okay.
So you're kind of in a race against time. You have from around September till, depending on when you start, mid-March and March or middle of April.
So you're building your teams for anywhere between 4 and 6 months, and then you're going out with those teams to sell, to get, to
go and create revenue, transact business. So the reason I like this is because with your time, it's important to know where it's going. So what I've done, the system I've done recently is I've tracked my time in recruiting and where it's been. I realized when I first started, I was like operating here and my results weren't very good. Very quickly, this last week we changed here and results have already improved. So it's like, okay, well, like, does this work, Talin? I don't know, try it. But for me, it's worked. And I literally tried to kick against it and I'm like, yeah, it doesn't work.
So you're saying that you were spending more time in the cold contacting, and again, this is a high ticket sale because you're getting people to commit to something pretty big. So spending time in this cold contacting, you weren't seeing the result. You were not seeing the results you wanted, and then when you shifted back towards higher trust networks, like almost instantly started seeing results. Yeah,
exactly. And you have to realize your sales cycle will be longer the further out you operate too.
Much longer, dude. So okay, so. I was, wow, all right, dialed, same wavelength. I was just going to ask you, how does the sales cycle itself, so time of transaction, well, it's like time of delivery of value, really. So, right, like you go door to door, you close somebody today, they get serviced, and that value is delivered today or tomorrow, for example.
Yep.
I get that it's delivered over a longer period of time, but you see the value immediately.
Yep.
In this longer form sale, high ticket, you're not seeing that value for a bit, right? Like for a long time. So you have a longer transaction, longer value delivery process or cycle. Does this trust factor of who you're selling to or who you're recruiting, does it also have to factor in like how long that cycle is of value delivery?
Yeah, 100%. And it also will come down to the competencies of the leader as well. So, for example, you'll find pretty regularly new leaders will operate here.
In the personal network of trust.
They'll get a
high
couple,
trust.
1, 2, 3 people close to them that'll come work with them. And the reason they're able to pull that off is because from time of sign-on to, like, if we were to then, we then have summer. Yeah, you can still see it. You then have, and
that's your wide point right there.
Okay, cool. So we'll just do summer right here.
Okay.
So this is where you actually like go to war, right? Why you'll see newer leaders, and this is good. Like, this is 100% what should happen. You'll see newer leaders really excel here in regards to getting people to finish out the whole program.
In the higher trust personal network.
Because it takes less work from sign on to summer to keep that person engaged, because there's already a very deep level of trust. You'll see when people get better that they start operating further out. And then you'll see guys like, we have guys this last year, we had several guys in our office where I'd recruited them personally in the cold contacting or versions of it. And they finished the summer, but it takes like a competency, and it takes an understanding that like you are with and on this guy all the time. Like, you have to make sure you're providing value, constantly checking in. Hey, how's this going? How's this going? This is what we're after. Reselling the vision. Whereas these guys are usually just sold on you. And you can operate
your personal network.
Yes.
Right.
Like,
if you're a trustworthy person.
Which by the way,
sorry, I forgot to factor that in. Nothing works if you're not trustworthy.
Is here, okay. So
trustworthy.
But anyways, so that's where I found, because it's interesting. A lot of my leaders this year had recruited a couple people in this, and they finished out. And I was looking back, I'm like, okay, so these guys had these people finish. Why is that? And it's like an easy metric to pull. It's like, oh, nice. We just need to train them on these competencies. On the retaining their sales reps that they recruit and training them well. Exactly. And even into training, like, it's a good enough factor for a lot of the people I work directly with. They understand it to where they could do that. But it's the consistency of the retaining that needs to take place to get people that are in low levels of trust into levels of trust to sign on, which is one domino to fall. Of level of difficulty, I'd say that's not as challenging. And then to bring that person onto a team, and then to ask them to go travel across the country with you and do one of the hardest jobs I believe is out there and finish it. It takes some competencies. Yeah. So it's like, as I was thinking here, I was like, hey, so how can we broaden our network and broaden our skill set to where these guys can be trained to just, it doesn't matter who it is. They can come into the program, and we have things in place where they know, okay, this is what I need to do with this rep to have them have success. Right. And none of it matters if you don't understand where they're coming from, because cold context, once again. In other words, none of it, your ability to get someone to successfully perform on your team is completely unpredictable if you don't understand the level of trust that they have coming into the program. Or at any given point, right? Like, it's actually at any given point. And then like that's a whole other diagram of like this month by month trust level that like has to actually continuously increase as your program's starting, because as that time's coming closer, competition is also stepping in too. Yeah, that's interesting. And that's a whole other conversation. So basically their distraction towards other value offers, right? Increases. Like, and also just, I mean, fear of doing something new increases. Dude, then you get this like idea of the emotional bank account where like if you're not making consistent deposits, then other people are making deposits. Dude, Bjorn and I were just talking about this actually. Like, someone is filling. It's like so everyone is kind of like their own little economy, right? So I can't just gauge my relationship with you and the emotional bank account that we have together. I actually have to look at you and say, okay, you have an emotional bank account of all of the relationships in your life. And It's fascinating. I've never thought of it this way, but keep going.
This is a today at the gym thought. So
Shapism.
You have an emotional bank account. Yeah, I was listening to Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective Families.
Oh, fire.
And he kind of just riffs on this whole like tape, basically.
Yeah.
It's just him. Maybe he has a script or something, but it sounds like he's just riffing the whole time. It's fascinating. It's fantastic. You should listen to it. I can only find it on Spotify though. It might be on Audible, but I'm listening to it on Spotify.
Dude, it's like there's several of those, but continue on.
Yeah. So he says everyone is like their own little universe, and it's just almost like these little universes just bumping into each other, colliding into each other, and like every time they do that, they only share a very small portion of their universe with each other. I was like, whoa, this is like the emotional bank account. So like you're your own economy, right? Yep. Like everyone that you transact with in your life is like, you can't see outside of that. So you have all these emotional deposits and withdrawals happening from your perspective of all the relationships in your life. But when it comes to me and you, that's a very small sliver of like the emotional bank account for you personally with all the other relationships factored in.
Yeah.
So if I go look at my emotional bank account with you and say, I've made so many deposits with Talin.
Yeah.
One little withdrawal is not going to be a big deal, right? Well, maybe it's a huge deal if I'm making up quite a bit of your emotional bank account, or if I make a big withdrawal and you've got a bunch of other deposits in your emotional bank account from other people in your life, i.e. competition of people who are recruiting you to do other things, or your family or whatever, right?
Yep.
If I make a big withdrawal and I'm like, but I've made so many deposits, and I don't realize that you have a ton more deposits being made to you, and you're the type of person who's high trust, so high trustworthiness, which means that you have quality relationships in your life, you're just going to kick me out of your emotional bank account. You're like, this guy's a liability. Like he's sucking away my funds, you know?
Yep, bleeding capital in the trust department. That's interesting to think about, and then that brings a whole other dynamic in regards to this too, if you think about that, right? Because you then operate within the steps of retaining, which is really relationship building and helping point them towards what they want, making sure your program's delivering on that.
Is that where the emotional bank account idea would fit
here?
It would be. Or is this kind of what we're referring to as trust, actually?
That's why I'm glad that I added that up top. Because that's the, 1 second. Can we pause?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, bro?
That was a good thought. Who's that? Lando. Come over, Lando.
No.
You're like 50 feet away from us right now.
Over in your neck of the woods. No, dude, and that'll be a cool thing to... I think that's like a cool competency to learn, because that was one of the things that last year I was trying to get better at, was having guys that didn't sign on the first offer or like the second follow-up, third follow-up, and then maintaining that relationship and then signing him later.
Because we have that's what's cool about, I guess, a little bit earlier recruiting, because he has 4 or 5 months of doing that, because you're not going to school. Like, that's all he's going to invest. And, bro, do you know how many people you have to have in your network or circle to actually make decent money?
In Amway? Dude, it takes to make, I'll just, an example, to make the income that you made this year in Amway would take 3 times the work and longer. And the money that I've made to make that in Amway would be ungodly amount of work. Like, it would be, you think you or I work a lot now, it's double or triple.
Yeah, I was seeing it just by him describing it. Bro, he makes like $3.
Yep, it's low, dude. It's our model.
Getting someone to agree to use his website. Oh my gosh, I'm like, bro, what?
Dude, it's low. It's lower ticket. It's crazy.
Yeah, dude. And Amway doesn't even have everything. Yeah, dude, that's crazy. That's crazy. But I think right now his recruiter just sold him on it. Because I asked him, I was like, how does your guy make money? He's like, he doesn't make money. He's like, if I sell, or if they use my website enough, there's something like a point system. He gets it from Amway.
Yeah. He gets it from, well, he doesn't, that's their way of saying they don't make money directly because it comes from Amway. That would be like me saying I don't make override on you because it's paid to me from Moxie, not from Landon. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay.
Does that make sense? It's like, yeah, technically his recruiter makes money from Amway. I don't make money off you. It's a point system from Amway. It's like, yeah, I don't take an exact personal cut of what Landon produces. I get an override that's paid by Moxie. And I would say, but dude, mind it, I'm not making money off you. It's like, I mean, obviously, like you're in our team, so like there's versions of overrides made.
Yeah.
That's one of the other things about Amway too. It's pretty vague, and you know that's just like the business model.
Nick, bro, he doesn't know enough too, and the thing I didn't want to do is I didn't want to like of Amway. I didn't want to. I did not want to tell him like anything bad about Amway or like discourage him. So I avoided that. But in my mind, I was like, bro, I just know he's gonna go through struggles because he already in his mind thinks he doesn't have to work a lot. Like he's like, yeah, I can do it on the side. And I'm like, but dude, like
$3 ticket items is not going to be on the side thing unless you just want to cover your energy drinks for the week.
I know. And so for me, I was like, well, I asked him like, well, do you have like a direct action plan? And he didn't really have one. And I was like, well, like, so, cause he said in 6 months I'm gonna get that business running. And I'm like, yeah. So I just kind of really try to tell him I get an offer, get the information. So that way, if in the future you do want to do it, you just kind of already know everything, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a 2-hour initial, bro. So
I was impressed. I was literally in there. I finished up my meeting. I was waiting for you guys to get done because I was going to talk to you about it. But then you guys went longer than I even had time. So.
Oh no! Like it went by for like 45 minutes after you left. So.
That's fire though. Well, good work, dude.
Yeah, I got to know him really good. But like, we're gonna sign Marco for sure on Monday, and then Nick's gonna give an offer. But Nick was like, "Bro, my cousin for sure is interested." So I told him his cousin moves to Utah in January. But I really want Nick, bro, because Nick is gonna be a good trust line. But he's someone that I genuinely feel like I could help with like what he wants in the future. It's, bro, I'm not lying to you. His story is the same as me. Middle class, parents got divorced.
Yep.
He kind of got screwed over by his flight school, I'm not going to lie. But, yeah, dude, it was so similar to me. Everything about it. And so, like, I really resonate with him. And I think that's why I was able, bro. There's a lot of trust there, too. And we're going to go work out at the gym on Monday. But, yeah, dude.
That'll be
that guy.
That's fire, dude. You're feeling the conviction that can come when you're operating from a place of genuinely helping people get what they want. And like helping them out instead of just viewing it as like, hey, I want to make money off this guy. And that's honestly probably why you're going to end up signing him, is because he's going to start feeling that from you. But as Amway guy, he's going to start to feel opposite.
Yeah, dude. Literally, bro, his Amway dude. Because Nick told me today that he was supposed to create the website, and he's like, yeah, my mentor had to run, so we're just gonna do it next Saturday. To your website.
Dude,
in my mind, I'm like,
mentor. Can you imagine, Lando, dude? Come over and eat some donuts with us.
Who is that?
Shap.
Hayden?
Yeah.
Dude.
What? You were at Hayden's house?
Dude,
I told you I was in your neck of the woods.
Take a break from being a dad for 5 seconds.
No, I said I was doing.
I'm on my way to Spanish Fork right now. I'm trying to go send these cards into PSA right now. So, but bro, if you're still there, like I swear, like 30 minutes on my way home because Austin's sleeping right now.
We need Landon on the podcast, dude.
Okay, I'll shoot you a text. Shoot me a text when you're on your way back over. I'm literally.
What did Hayden? I kind of told Hayden I'm dabbling in cards and I'm low key, bro. It's so fun, bro. So yeah, I'm going to drop these off for PSA right now.
Oh, dude, you're in deep, huh?
He's in deep.
You're in so deep, dude. I know that. I know that game.
There's versions of depth and 1, 2, and 3.
Dude, dude, Landon, you make too much money for this, man. That means you're gonna be in real deep.
That's true, dude. You do make.
Yeah,
money.
you make too much money to be collecting stuff. I'm just gonna tell you that right now.
Remember your.
Then you over.
Dude, it's so funny, bro. Watching Gary Vee go to card shows and sell these guys that they're doing the right thing is so funny.
Yeah, because Gary Vee's got like $1 billion to go spend on freaking whatever he wants.
The thing that I love about the card thing is, what did you mention it to me a week ago? Dude, and he's already like striking big on big cards, like $1,000 cards.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's like, okay, well, proven lesson 666 that whatever Lennon sets his mind to, he does.
Lando, how much weight have you gained since being a dad?
None. Actually, reversed.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what happened with me too.
Right now.
Dude, come over and eat some.
One meal a day, bro. You can eat whatever you want for one meal a day. Works.
Hey, didn't you ask me about what my diet was? Did you follow my advice? Yeah.
Yeah, like you eat one meal a day, and the secret sauce. If you ever eat more, you gotta eat carbs right before bed.
You're adding some nuances to this diet.
That's a talent.
Yeah.
Talin literally said, Shaq told me that the secret for carbs, you just gotta eat them right before bed.
Dude, that's a Huberman thing.
That's Huberman. That's
Huberman. That's Huberman.
That was a Shap, Talin, Mateo Rasmussen jam session.
Dude, yeah, that's what that.
Dude, what's funny about that is because regardless of what carbs I eat at night right before bed, whether it's Kroger or whatever, it's I still wake up with morning skinny. So like
morning skinny.
You are Austin's husband. 100%.
Morning skinny,
funny, bro. It's so funny.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, no, dude, it actually reversed it, and it's actually because definitely where my diet. Well, two things. Number one is I always eat fast, so I'm always like eating till full, and then cutting out rice, bro. I love rice, so I always try to have rice with my diet, and just cutting that to maybe a scoop, like with like what you had. So that's definitely kind of what helps, but.
Well,
Can't really gain that much.
I guess it doesn't help that these donuts are healthy.
How healthy are they? Because you may have to take mine.
Dude, they're super healthy.
But I'm
They're
free, no added sugar.
no added sugar and no net carbs.
Is it gluten though?
Wait,
These might be gluten free actually.
Did Jesus drop them off?
No, dude,
Sacrament or something?
Basically,
So when
we're gonna use them for the. Never mind.
We're at the point where
parlor donuts.
we're at the point where you're gonna get translated like Hayden. The veil is thin and donuts get delivered regularly.
Dude, that was funny. Bro, it was so funny having Sandy in town because Sandy would over make food. And like, bro, we got stocked worth of dinners for the next 2 weeks. So every dinner, like, because she would make for like family, and it was just me, Austin, occasionally like Sam,
Yeah.
and then and so like we have all this food, and so my big thing is not gouging and like eating until you're full,
Mm-hmm.
just eating until you're like, I'm good. Usually if they go for seconds, you just don't. That's the big thing, bro.
Yeah, I'm big on like the third and fourths. You know me.
Here, let me see. These actually might be gluten free.
If they are, I'll take one. If not,
I'll eat that.
You'll snag it up.
These might be gluten.
Talin, don't go to the game, bro. Sell your tickets and let dude just come over, bro.
Oh, you are going to the game. You're gonna go admire those guys, huh?
Thanks, Hayden.
You're gonna go spend your precious eyesight on watching other people succeed at life.
To be honest, it's actually. I'm taking someone that's
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
nice.
That's great.
Here we go.
Sounds productive.
I've got this is going.
Whenever I told Talin, whenever I got paid, bro, I was gonna buy your course because I'm actually interested.
Do it.
All that.
Dude, we're
It's only $457.
It's $457.
We broke my rule for it being sounding cheap because it's a lot of syllables.
457.
Bro, you kind of scared me because
457.
earlier in your Instagram thing, you're like, yeah, I wanted to charge $5,000. So
I did, dude.
Now it's $2,500. Bet.
Nah, Bjorn is my witness. I was like, this thing's worth at least $5,000, and Amy was like, let's start with 400. I was like, 450. She's like, okay, 457.
You just explaining whatever she would say.
She actually did want me to do 250 at first, and I was like, Amy, it's gonna have all 12 modules on it though.
I'm not doing
and she
6, I'm doing 12.
she doesn't know anything about the foundation modules or whatever, right? She's like, but you're just selling like a tonalities like sales thing, right? It's like super valuable. I was like, Amy.
It is a bigger deal than that.
No, she knows. Amy's a baller, dude.
I was gonna reach out to Nate. David actually Aguilar messaged me on WhatsApp, I think, and asked me about like things that he can do. He's like, I didn't read the whole thing. I just kind of got a message from him about like what he can do to go level up and go sell more.
Uh-huh.
I low-key just
I don't think these are gluten friendly.
kind of thing.
Yeah, no, you should, because we're doing a couple different things with David, because you'll start to find that some reps we call them, like, I don't know how else to say it, but they're ask hole.
Yeah,
So
they ask other.
They ask every other leader because they don't want to listen to their leader. Surely their leader's way isn't the way, so then they ask a lot of other people, but then they find that it's all common.
Yeah. I mean, I went through the same thing. I'm sure you did too. Like everyone goes through that phase of like, and then you just realize, it's all the same thing.
So the biggest thing is I would point him to Nate, and you can do it in a way where it can build Nate up. You can just be like, dude, to be honest, like me and Nate received the same training. I just took a hold of it a little sooner, so you should ask Nate because he'll say the same thing. That's how I would recommend that.
Fire. Bro, I'm lucky gonna be back in like 20 minutes.
Okay.
Are you gonna still be there?
I'll probably leave. It'll probably be close. I need to leave by the latest at 4:30.
Okay.
So-
well, the game's at when? Oh, 6?
It's at 6, yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna try to make it because I want to come say what's up to you guys.
Okay. All right, sounds
Dude,
good,
come over.
Drive safe, brother, man.
Cool.
Drive safe.
All right.
Love you, bro.
Love you, bro.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
I can't confidently say these are gluten friendly, but they do have it on the menu. Do you want this one?
Sure.
Da, 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 da,
They're
da,
bomb
da,
though.
da.
They are good.
I
This
don't know.
is sugar free.
It is?
Yeah.
Sweet. Parlor Donuts? Jeez, man. Yeah.
That's so good. That's amazing, right?
What on earth is that?
Dude, what we need to do is reach out to these little Provo sponsorship deals.
And blow them up.
Like, listen, guys, I get at least 300 views a video.
Look at let me introduce you to you guys. Name's Bjorn. Let me ask this. Would you be opposed to your business tripling in the next 30 days?
Oh, dude, seriously. Oh, I don't think I'd be opposed to that, actually.
Yeah. And what if the systems were automized and it was you only paid if results happened? Would you be opposed to any of that?
I wouldn't be opposed to any of that.
Cool. Yeah. So just sign here and here.
Whoa. What does this have to do with what you just said?
Oh man.
Okay.
Sales. So yeah, there's a lot that I'm. This is funny, and I hope that people are watching. This is just how my mind works. So we have a goal. This is one thing that you taught me. So from Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill has his version of definite purpose, right? Statement of definite purpose. And what happens is there's versions of things that happen when you set that statement of definite purpose, and then you consistently look over it. And that then allows you to start getting your brain working and looking and finding ways to accomplish that goal.
Yep.
Right. It's a version of confidence, a version of auto-suggestion to where your mind is then looking for those things. That's where all of this started. I love the principle of setting a goal that's out of your reach.
Yep.
And allowing your mind to go to work to figure it out. That's like someone should be like, hey, Talin, like what have you been doing since you left, like since I've been done at BYU? It's literally been setting goals that are way out of my current competencies, like extremely out of. Working probably, honestly, at times inefficiently because I just was like, I just need to do more to figure out what this looks like.
Which becomes very efficient.
And then the efficiency comes after that. But through that process, it's allowed my mind to go to work to create ways of doing things that I'm now trying to simplify into systems to where I can then just hand them to, on the call is one of my leaders, Lando, and he's also one of my closest friends. Hand them to those guys so that we can just replicate success. Less about replication in a business way of, hey, so I can sit on a beach and these other guys can work, but genuinely to give them a skill set to where they can then go and create literally $1 million of production in 4 months on command.
Yeah, you can't scale without replicable systems, replication.
Yeah. So this is really what we're working on right now. But then, you have your first creation. Then you have, really the retaining step is really all within the first creation. In my mind, because
helping a sales rep build their goal setting.
Exactly.
Build their goals.
That's funny because in this step, this is the one I've been geeking out on recently. Like those like 10
the first
PM,
creation?
Yeah, 10 p.m. sessions at the office. Where,
Yeah.
where, okay, I'm done
You
for
and I
the
have
day.
many of those.
Yeah, I'm done for the day, but like I have a whiteboard and I have a couple ideas.
Oh, yeah.
And I need some caffeine because it's going to get rowdy. That's where this came from. So in regards to your first creation, this is what because I've realized from our last year's results, our lack of execution, we did great here. Like,
in the building, recruiting the teams.
Yeah, the guys I work with are likable enough. They're willing to they have enough courage to go and get out and invite people to come in, and we have a process to close, which came from a version of you and you.
Old version of me.
Old version of you.
Yeah, that's it.
Or maybe call it the
8 months old version.
First creation. So
Yeah, new version.
the interesting thing about the first creation that I think is important that we're training now. So back to this, my mind's all over. I realized our gap was me personally, my inefficiency of delivering on the first creation. Let me retract that. My inefficiency of discovering it and then delivering on it.
Okay, so understanding what the person's
Yes.
goals are,
Yes.
creating them with them, and then being able to deliver on their goals as they relate to them working with you in your program.
Precisely.
Okay.
We didn't, because if you take the time it takes less time. We didn't take the time it takes in this step. So during the summer, there was a lot of questions and lack of motivation. Getting guys to work. Like, it was amongst our leadership, it was like, guys, like, I feel like this year it's harder to get guys to work. And like, at first I was like, yeah, you're right. Like, what's going on? As I thought about it more, I'm like, yeah, guys, it's because we're telling these guys to go knock on doors and they have a very short-term focus. There's no connection.
So you were finding that they were struggling to connect to their why, which is what, you're building into the first creation. All things are created twice.
Yep.
Goals are a first creation of a second creation, which is then the execution and realization of those goals, right?
Precisely.
Okay.
So the thing that I'm jamming on recently, and I really do I even want to just like create like a short little even 30-second video series so that leaders can better understand when they're sitting down with a rep to create a first creation, like that needs to happen within 48 hours of them signing on. And then on top of that, you have to realize.
So if they are committing to you contractually, then you're saying like, I want to be able to deliver on helping them see what goals, like what really you're bringing them through a process of setting goals immediately.
Yep.
Which is not just goals for their work with you, right? It's like goals for their life, and then helping them see the context of those goals within working with you.
It's actually even more of that, the second thing that you mentioned.
So their goals of their life and how they see it as it relates to like working with you. If you can do that immediately within 48 hours of them signing on, you're starting. That's why this is in the retention aspect of your process, right? Because
100%.
You're delivering massive value to them right away.
Yep.
And I mean, yeah, there's very few things that can be more valuable to somebody that you're bringing into a system, whether that's a customer or in this case, a recruit, that is more valuable than helping them see clearly the future for themselves and like build a future that they weren't expecting to have.
Well, that's like one of
Goals.
the gifts that I got from this and really from like with you and then also with Braden as well, is like sitting down and like, first off, empowering me to be like, hey, dude, so like whatever you want to do, you can do it. You do realize that, right? That was foreign to me. I didn't know that was a thing. And so that's why I think you teach several principles of the first creation that are principles before you actually give them a sheet and say, hey, fill this out. And that's what I've been jamming on recently. So what
are the principles of the goal setting process that are like,
hey,
that underlie it?
Here's the first creation. It's like, that's great. But like, when you think of that rep, it's like, how can I help this rep for the rest of his life? It's like, I needed to help him understand the actual principle of why this matters and why it works. Okay.
So yeah, what are these principles then?
Yeah. So it's,
well hold on just a second. What do we need to do right now? What time do I have to leave? 5?
We should package
do you want
this.
me here for the thing?
I probably need to dip at 4:40 is the latest I have.
Okay.
Principles, I had them in here, I'm actually going to cheat because I want to make sure that I'd went over this and this is my brain app right here. Shout out to Ben Ward.
Whoa, wait, what app is this?
OmniFocus. So I set tasks and then you can set reminders.
Oh, OmniFocus is cool. I've used it before.
There's a handful. There's now like an AI version.
I actually probably used it a while ago, so it might be much different now. But very different now, dude.
Go ahead.
While you're looking through this really quick, so you mentioned this concept. It was foreign to you at first that you could have whatever you want, right? I just recently had picked back up a friendship of like my best friend growing up, and
oh, cool.
He and I were talking a little bit, and we were just talking about goals in life, and I was telling him that I felt like I was in a bit of a rut with my own goal setting, and he mentioned that he was too. And so as we've been kind of fleshing out like why we felt we were in a rut, one of the things that he said was like, I kind of just want to do XYZ. And I looked at him and was like, dude, you can have whatever you want. Like, if you could have whatever you want, what would you choose? And he's like, whoa, that's like, he just hadn't thought about that before. And I realized that Jason Walton really like growing up, this was something that I latched onto in a couple of my classes in high school that I had that were like these really interesting, unique entrepreneur classes.
Yeah.
And I had two teachers specifically. One was a Greek and Roman history, and the other one was an entrepreneur teacher. And they both opened me up to this idea of like the future is whatever you want it to be.
It's in your hands, man.
Yeah. And so, but we got talking about that, and he came to me a few days later and was like, yeah, that thing you said, you can have whatever you want. I just can't get that off my mind. It's like, is that real, basically? I'm like, yeah, dude, you literally whatever you want. If you want it bad enough, you can have it. And it really, your option set becomes very interesting when you play that game where you're like, what if I could have whatever, anything? What if I could have anything my mind could conceptualize?
Yeah.
You actually don't choose the things you think you would choose.
Yep.
Yeah.
It usually starts by choosing the things that you thought you would want to choose.
Yeah. Like,
and then you start like
a Ferrari.
Yeah, and then you start attacking those, and then you realize you're like, wow, no, like this is actually what I want. But you don't ever get there without first understanding the principle, and then two, just taking massive action.
Yep.
Like my end all be all is like, okay, so you're in this situation. I tell my leaders this. Okay, so you don't have any reps. That's fine. Like, all you need to do is take massive action, and you're going to figure something out. Like something will stick eventually. And then as you take massive action, you'll start to find that the original thing you said you wanted is what you wanted.
Yeah.
But you only find that as you start working towards it.
Fair.
So the overarching principle to understand with the first creation is stimulus and response. So we all have the ability to choose when a stimulus, something uncontrollable, happening, we have our ability to choose our response. If someone doesn't understand that, none of this is super effective. It'll still work, and we'll wait till they're ready to accept this, and we'll just continue to remind them of the truthfulness of this model.
Okay.
But this is the first thing that I try to train, and this is once again, this is like my new thing that it's not even new, but I'm just trying to make sure that the first creation is actually delivered. Like this meeting, this should be like more important in your mind than this meeting.
The retention for the first creation meeting.
Yes, because
where you're building goals with your team. If you don't do this
right, then all of this effort was literally wasted in regards to actually having someone and allowing and being able to influence them for good.
Yep.
Because then it just becomes a surface level sales program
that
everyone cares about $1, and the managers rip everybody off, and everybody hates sales because this step isn't done correctly.
Yeah.
So this is why I've taken time to I'm like, okay, this is where we need to deliver. So the first thing is beginning with the end in mind. So it's habit 2, 7 habits of highly effective people. The principle of before you begin any journey, you need to understand where you're actually going. And by helping people understand that, once again, this is all just like awareness things before we then ask them to go and actually create goals. The second thing is the law of two creations, where all things are created twice, right? First spiritually or intellectually, and then physically. And then design versus default. The idea that life is always happening by your own conscious design, or it is happening by default. But regardless, life is happening. The sun will rise tomorrow. People will hit their goals that you work for, and you're either going to be a part of your conscious design, or you'll go by default.
Yeah.
Side note on that, if you want to go by default, just make sure you work with someone who's really good at first creating, and you'll be just fine.
Yeah, but even then it takes, like, you're not going to stumble into that person because that person only associates with people who work by design or who want to.
What they'd call ballers these days, right?
So, yeah, like one way you can look at this designer default, because this concept is... Covey talks about like the difference between determinism and the opposite, which is that the future is not determined, that you can affect the future. You can actually influence it. And that in his study of the personal development literature, he doesn't say this specifically, but it is one of the variables that he alludes to, which is that determinism was the main, the prevailing driver of personal development literature in the most recent history. Yeah. So, yeah, I can't do anything about the future. The future is just going to happen the way it's going to happen.
Yep. It is what
your own thoughts aren't even actually your own. So, like, you're just, everything is just going to happen the way it's going to happen, and that's it. You can't affect it at all. Well, it is going to happen, whether you like it or not. But there's only one variable that can influence the future, at least your future, right? Because your future is just some version of like a bunch of different variables that converge right now in this second that already have been in play for who knows how long.
Yeah.
And the only difference that affects what would happen without you and what could happen is your will, your thought, your creation of a different future. So like, yeah, stimulus occurs and there's always going to be a response, but the space in between those two things, I mean, it's such a profound insight by Viktor Frankl, who originated this idea.
Yeah.
The space to choose, the power to choose. And in that space lies what does he say? Your freedom.
You're talking about the endowments, the unique endowments?
Okay, I have to try to remember the actual quote. So between stimulus and response, there's a space. And in that space lies your power to choose. And in that choice lies your freedom and your, I think it's like opportunities or something along those lines.
Dude, you're
so
one track minded here. We're not going to be able to help you on that.
Yeah. That idea is so incredibly profound.
Yeah.
That you're the driver of your future, or at least that you can be.
Yep.
Yeah, had to finish that one off. Interesting, right?
No, absolutely fascinating.
But you're saying that this is the key principle that makes it so that a group of people that you recruit into your program can actually dominate together, right? It's like you have a shared understanding of like, I can create my own future, my goals.
Yep.
Every single person on the team with me is doing that for themselves and they understand it. But then also like you start to share the vision of what you guys could do together. Yeah. And it's like a wildfire you can't stamp out at all.
Which, I mean, you've experienced year
That's the key, dude. I understand why you're geeking out on this, because like if you were to just ask me right now, like, hey, what's the one thing that contributed to your success? If you just had to isolate one variable that's like that, a focus on that outsized return on success, it's the idea of getting everyone to be bought into their own goals. So you help them create their own goals and see a vision of the future that's more compelling than what they already imagined.
Yeah.
Determine a plan to get there.
Yep.
That is executable, that you can actually achieve.
Yep.
And then together as a team, developing a shared vision for what you could do together that fits, so that all of the people's individual goals can fit into that achievement. There's nothing that can stop a team that does that from performing with just absolute excellence.
Fire. And so that's what we were missing.
Oh, lo and behold.
Exactly. So that's where I geeked out on it, because I realized when I had really been, when the wheels started turning for me is when this was taking place. How
empowering is that to realize though that like you can actually influence an entire culture by that one thing?
This process has given me because everyone wants to go and everyone says they want to go start a business someday. Like, not everybody, but like a lot of people.
Probably a lot of people that you are recruiting into your program,
right? I want to start a business one day. And I wanted to as well, and I still want to one day. But this actually puts the stuff in, like, this is the real stuff, right? It's like, okay, so you want to go start a business, you need to learn how to transact some form of, like, a value exchange needs to take place. Mm-hmm. That's one-to-one, which is the lowest level skill on the totem. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the entry level. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. One-to-one you can sell. Perfect. Now what you need to do is you need to bring people into your program. You need to keep them with your program. You need to train them to produce well enough for them to justify financially to continue to work with you. Mm-hmm. This is like the essence of what business
all the while building a skill set within them and character traits that will make them better humans in their life because of it.
Exactly. And that's why, like, I'm so passionate about this piece of it. The next thing I'm geeking out on.
The first creation.
Exactly. The next thing I'm kind of simultaneously geeking out on this about the values that we lead with, making sure there's real measurable things that we're doing to improve there. From your organization.
Core moral values?
So literally the 4 values that we talk about this is, once again, like I said earlier,
integrity, gratitude,
so the foundation of character, true character, becoming the best version of yourself, which the foundation of is going to be integrity and gratitude. So this is character, devel.
Development.
And then the second section of that, which is the ability to produce. So learning how to create revenue and create income for yourself on command anywhere, anytime. And you do that through commitment keeping. So doing the things you say you're going to do, because we have integrity, so it's all intertwined. And then skills of persuasion that are governed by principles that are above. That's very important. These are not hedged separate. It's just the main focus with the secondary focus. So everything here has to operate within here. If not, then it's not what I want to be a part of. And then the other one is
you're saying that
hard work.
The ability to work hard, to follow through with your word, needs even that itself needs to be governed and tempered by. Jason used to say character of charity, which I really like that characterization, but it needs to be governed. So like your ballerness, being able to follow through with your word, work harder than everyone else, that has to be governed by your integrity and your gratitude. If integrity and gratitude is not first, then, then you get into a pretty interesting game of starting to view people as a means to an end. Eventually it leads to that. It's kind of complicated how it gets there, but yeah.
And then it's a lot of guys will ask me, it's like, okay, so like what's the check? It's like, well, it's pretty easy. If you start doing things for your own gain over the other person, then this is out of line.
Ooh, okay. So like, how do you measure, how can you, you're talking about how do you measure this, right?
That's what I'm geeking on right now. Cause a lot of when I'm really sitting down with people, they're like, hey dude, so like,
I like this, dude.
I've heard the values and I love what you guys are about, but like, I had XYZ friend that had an experience at the company and he said that they were talked about, but they weren't measurable and they weren't really enacted on. And I was like, okay, so that's a problem. So we should fix that.
So you're saying, how can I tell if my program is starting to get out of balance where we're operating with less integrity or gratitude? Because it's imperceptible oftentimes, right? It's hard to tell, at least in the short term.
It's like Satan's old adage, boiling the frog, nice, slow and easy, and then he's boiled up. You don't even realize till it's too late.
Yeah. So you're saying that like the way to gauge if someone's integrity and gratitude is not being put first over everything else is the way they view people.
100%. So
if I can somehow check the way I view my customers, the way I view, it is so cool. It's like what we've been talking about with our internal training is how you view the customer actually is the biggest determiner of your ability to successfully sell to them. If you don't view the customer as, first off, a human being like you, right? And that might feel obvious, but it's not though if you view them as a transaction. If I only view this as a transaction, it might be two humans talking to each other, but like you're just a dollar to me though. And so I just use you, and then I use you like I use everyone else in my life for all the things that give me gratification. I just move on to the next transaction, right? And when I'm at home, it's my wife, and then when I'm with my kids, it's my kids, and like their baseball games give me the satisfaction because they succeed, and then they, whatever, all the stuff. Then I just move on. But
sugar free, right?
It is sugar free, although it doesn't taste like that to me. But it is. It says sugar free.
Yeah, you're good.
So transactional, but if I view you as someone who wants to achieve similar goals as that I fundamentally want to achieve in my life, like for example, I want to have peace in my life, right?
Massively.
If you want to have peace as well, because you're like me, and that's a fundamental desire we have, then like I can relate to that. And so I don't want to sell you something that's going to make you not have peace in your life. So if I overextend you financially, that's not going to give you peace. So why would I be like, hey, just go get a credit card and just put it on the credit card. It's not that hard, right?
Yep. And when things like that are happening, that's the check.
Right.
And you're like, and that's where this year I was like, okay, there's a couple adjustments we could make. Personally, and then also in the team.
Dude, it's really interesting, right? As I was leaving Moxie and starting my own thing, one of the things that I really wanted to do was just that I wasn't able to do just because of time and because I ended up leaving, is put together, as basically a system that could somehow inform you as to how your sales reps were operating on the level of integrity.
Yep. And a lot of people,
it's really hard to peg down because it's like not actually a measurable thing. But to your point though, there are results that happen by not behaving with integrity that you can trace back to it somehow.
Yeah, exactly. And so like the check there, and I, as you say, charity between these two, I think that's super profound. I would agree.
Gratitude and integrity, charity.
Right. Gratitude, integrity, charity. The other thing is, so how are you viewing your your recruits than also the people you're selling personally. If you're starting to take actions that are more beneficial for you than for them, then you do need to check these. Because that means that there's a version of selfishness that's taking place due to a lack of gratitude. And there's a lack of integrity because you're not being honest with yourself. Every human knows when they're in a situation they shouldn't sell somebody. You know it at first. Until you do it enough to where you become numb to it.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's like that's the check that I've come up with this. But then I've done some cool things studying gratitude. Tony Robbins has a couple things on gratitude where he actually has some, I can't remember what book it's in. He literally has a diagram of like basically your brain waves and then your heart rate when you're in a frustrated or high stress situation. And then when you're in a situation where you're showing gratitude and appreciation, and he shows the differences.
Oh yeah.
So
Huge.
it's like there's other things too that would come into that. But yeah, so then I'm geeking out right now on making sure that this is being delivered on.
Love it.
That way you can actually say, right, okay, well, so what's your value proposition? I know what the value proposition is, but then I have substance behind it to then slide something across the table and say, hey, so this is actually how we do it. And did these things pique your interest, or is this something that wouldn't be of interest to you?
And like importantly, doing it because you care about the fact that you're, raising up like a generation of leaders that actually have integrity and gratitude. Yeah. Not even because this is going to be the thing that sells you on the thing I'm saying. And I don't want to be duplicitous. I don't want to like lie to you because that means that I don't get to recruit as much because I'm in the system where like I know that it has to be congruent or else people are going to leave. But really it's because I just want to make sure that I recruit well and like that they perform. Like the highest order value has to be that I want people to actually develop integrity and gratitude above all else, that everything in their life is tempered by that because I see the value of what they could be, who they could be for the people that they love in their lives. Yeah. If that's my highest order value, then like, of course I'm going to want to come up with things that make it so that I can prove that that's true because I want more people in my program that want that as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the overarching thing is it's like, if you're in the position of leading and doing this, that I don't want to say the box is checked, but that's the core focus already. So like you should already be operating with, hey, how can we make sure that we deliver on this? Because it was delivered on for me and it's changed my life. Yeah. And I think for me, that's where this stems from. Because it's like, hey, there's been a lot of leaders that have helped me deliver on this. And it's put me in a position that I would have been far different had I not actually been in this situation and learned this.
Love it, dude. Fantastic. Yeah, this is amazing. We'll have to pick back up on this if you're able to be a regular
on the show.